Esa gambo na la song ya jena. Esa alo san tindu ko se de la san je song le da. Ta de ge song ya gambo yo song bu. Esa gambo na la yer mu chi ge on na ma yo su zo ga de bu. Te wa mi ge shi ne su sen yo de de. Be be she on no ma yo zo ni cho ju san ji jiang xin su de sen yo xian song yo.
And there is the collected works by Jao Ansapa, and in his works, Jao Ansapa said that the empowerments, the transmissions, and the teachings were received. Je Tsongkhapa received empowerments, teachings, and the transmissions from the Buddhas of the 10 directions.
Today in Zaman Longi, Longden Shada Dongi, Longden, the Zozo Yomari, loaded Damabovi Jimuno, China, neither danger Sazamsu, Gishi Gumanyu, Suazio, Tambo Jidan Nezondi, Tamatunga Chedanson, Rini Chanshanja and Rinsun. Neither danger Sazamsu, Jimudan, Lady Borudi, Gaden Gubayu Sadi, Gaden Yan, Machi Lugin and Jimule. Man looking in the level, let it go on use Lobad and dancer. Then Chasams from Guji Persia. Then did a danger Sasams. Removed and then Peru, lesser, Gish Kumajumus, Gaden, Gaden, Gadenija Severe. Gaden, Gaden, other guessing a Bubati now Yoso. Tamu Jida Nezo, Tamatonda Chedanson, Tamu Jida, Jaya Pene, Tonda Chedanson, Ridin Jaya, Chanshanja, Chanshan the Kutrome. Jamie young reach or the Legis, levels from the Shaji Sesson, or that the Legis long time. Kashik Nail, Kashik Gonzalez, Kashik Zeva Lunde, or that the Lesian Jerumus in Zavatella, Cochitella, Long Ajuma Rachel Majuba Kanshi, Pearly Penny Shirashida, Pearly Abbey to want to reach research. The nature ready in a Tibaru and Zeva Knizay me, as a sumo the Jinjada. Yes, sono put the Sunju Sujeyo. Sumo Uju Basun the Lord, gave a Joyo, and Dube Joyo, Marisaji, Kavasunaj in Mizuzu, Yomari. And Haber the Gumalan took him Kayo. Where some of the other Kavas Rijabaro membership, Hadam Sabji Jasho, the Gendan Dasai Yomari, the Legend Sumoji. And Anna Zeva charging Jeremy in Zeva, Zeshan Jeju Tamayo.
And there is many the predictions about Je Tsongkhapa's life. In one of the the texts with many predictions says that Je Tsongkhapa will establish the Gandhin monastery between D and then D here refers to Digum, and then here refers to another town. And also in that the prediction says that then that there will be 3,300 monks starting from the four the monks, and all this came very accurate as it was predicted. And so in Je Tsongkhapa didn't live very long. Relatively, he lived until maybe 50s. And within this short period, Je Tsongkhapa had performed deeds like of the Buddhas. When Je Tsongkhapa first came to central of Tibet from the Amdo area, and he was about 16 years old. And then since then, Je Tsongkhapa worked very hard for the sake of sentient beings and Buddha Dharma. And there are 38 volumes by Je Tsongkhapa and his two disciples. And in those the texts, we cannot find any contradictions, and we cannot say that these teachings are missing, and we cannot say that these teachings were corrupted, and all the way that they're laid down based on the scriptural references. And there are 18 lives, different lives of Je Tsongkhapa. Among 80 lives of Je Tsongkhapa, the most superior, most important lives are the 4 lives of Je Tsongkhapa.
rinchi jamba chi sun zeya, sola pan shi sun zeya, jigri, nyeji seji mumba de cheba zeya, jachimbo zeya, jigri, daden bhalan shimbo tsuya, jigri, bhalan shimbo chida, yerubu shigi zubabu, dacha bedama shaja tobabu, seba, chuchun dawa, seba chi di jeba dan rinche chuchun, seba jeni jenga badan, reme chuchun deni, shabu jonga, jaga sanje, mati tamba tu, tuwa na. Taking Zebadella, Shabachama Rina Sasala, and Chujusu, Joanna Bagina, Ujinfu, Longol Paju, Tere Jebaching, Tama Lutura, Jam, Tama Lutumba, the name for it.
And there are the 8, so the 4 extraordinary deeds of Je Tsongkhapa are one is that Je Tsongkhapa had the set up the great prayer Malam and and the one and the 2 is that in the restoration of the statues of Buddha in Maitreya. And the 3rd was that they're making elaborate and extensive offerings at Nyan, the place. And yes, the first one was that the Je Tsongkhapa set up the great prayer of Manamchim, and still it is going on. And then the 4th one is that the establishing the Gandhi monastery.
알아서 거론은 그런 거 나야요. 고도 더 가고요. 어디나라베 주어받은 취미시다 배점니 샤부정어리 추준정어리 바된수 샤부정어리라도 저 취미 친구 쉬운 바는 취미게 매저이 우려제니 보다 졸라판에 매셔되지. 아니 매서게 매마도 공야 졸라판 도와를 띵게지기로 냐바샤니 공네. 띵게지기 매서고 좀. 그래 인식이 되는 아니 사주도 차차도 그 기본의 이내 방을 도부가서 인증로요. 아니 지도로 중요해요.
And when, for instance, even if the Je Tsongkhapa was very humble and he didn't have even one horse, and when he traveled from one place to another, he just carried one the typical rucksack, and he didn't have many assistants. And but when he started this or this great prayer, and then he made an extensive and very elaborate offerings. In Je Tsongkhapa made these offerings outside of the monastery, which they call Minkor, means this greater the way of this long path where we can circumambulate the monastery. And around this, around the monastery, the Je Tsongkhapa made elaborate offerings for 15 days continuously, because Je Tsongkhapa made elaborate offerings such as lights and so forth. And at one day there was stench of fire, nearly caught a fire on the temple, and then it was very difficult for the monks to actually destroy the fire. And then Je Tsongkhapa sat on has done in the meditative concentration through the power of meditative concentration, and then Je Tsongkhapa had killed the fire.
That's the one by the toilet to Masimba, the Uzoni Tsongkhapa Lusa Java, so you get us in the Kundet Agatani Yamari. Yamari didn't know some too many for that chip to Simba Majone, Yavala Petrucci. Yavala Petrucci, Yavaya Mafis. 강가로게 가동치 자가를 배수는 별로 때마다 위험 말이 근데 제자도 미 기회 신년이 위험 말이 앞으로 사중시에는 리그를 숨는 이제 외고 놓은데
And even if the Je Tsongkhapa was the most learned one, most the realized being at that at his the time, but still he was not satisfied with his the philosophical views, and he was intended to go to to India to search for about views, and then the Manjushri had advised him not to go to to India if Je Tsongkhapa had went to India, and then the Buddha Dharma would not flourish in Tibet, and instead Manjushri said that Je Tsongkhapa should stay in Tibet and make more purifications and accumulations of merit.
烟空东北烟空的年巴下少了修下的，when 年下人讲你，这个草村的话也蛤蟆我呢。我天天忙不重要的，了解谈到东北年这边呀，我去投全部马中呢，安尼这边把我都去就人家这样，人家这样个人草啥这种啥种技术，了解了，没去的干嘛，看好了个训练去，安尼啥种结果一让他家里去送。 家里钱里面过些岁买不起，家里的小区可能如果跟着提过，人家这样然后老兄弟，看不起的500钱去，不是钱，搞大把那些生意去了呢，这个个弄点嘛，那可能我没有节约，我得赔你如果来赔你如果经济强不过来的要讲嘛，上海嘛，过钱了钱，过路没车去要的，那看你没些。 家酒，我其他的别吃下东，要讲我其他的做不起，那方就不吃。再图个嘛是，你期间这些没吃不东，提不起，吃下东西，那空的全部的收了，他不接，收了古巴大，你要讲个乌怕长的够了不起，给你下，那过去吃这药嘛的，更要这个，多钱一些把送不买着去，过去刚刚把送下去。 我学姐穷的，上岗老难没的。我到天天起来嘛穷去，他天天嘛穷是，对吧？忙呢，忙个多嘛就是，忙个多嘛的这些那些的赔，多么经常想，这些那些有这那个等用的现在的我都为赔个因素，来起来做的上年小概念觉得呢，没我嘛现在我比如说我去，天天给呗。 就忙着咱家着咱大部现在咱现在都开培养嘛，我穷呢，第一吃进去呢，像这几个地方全部都被杀上去，要讲嘛油啥去，油脂去，常常都杀上去呢，这些讲嘛的挺上一节这边做了好像会好的，我都是说呢，这产么去弄的杀酱弄的，好的，现在个过来去弄的，但俺让吃的啥子接不进，东北的多个也嘛的，去用个也嘛的，俺让吃的去嘛些不上的。
And the Je Tsongkhapa's understanding of emptiness was so accurate. Even the Je Tsongkhapa cannot feel and see that people were standing up from the cushions when they finish when they over the meditation practices, because he was so his mind was so dissolved into the state of emptiness. But even so, the Je Tsongkhapa was not satisfied with his realizations, and then he asked questions to to Manjushri through Pao Doche, and then the Pao Doche, Manjushri replied him he should do more kind of purifications and accumulating merit. By doing so, and Je Tsongkhapa can, and then they directly realize the emptiness. And when he received this advice from Manjushri, and then Je Tsongkhapa decided then to go to a very isolated place, then to do this the preliminary practices, and then Manjushri also advised him, and then to go with his some of his assistants or disciples. There were 8 assistants, 4 from Kham and 4 from Yu. So altogether there were 8 disciples. his own this yellow that were on the stages of Buddha material, and then what he did was that he in the flat he outstretched his own these yellow robes, and then put the strings on the four the corners of his yellow robes, and then used that as like a canopy or tent of the statue of the Je Tsongkhapa, and then it helped to make droppings by birds. And they didn't have Je Tsongkhapa and his the disciples, 8 disciples, didn't have anything to make offerings in front of that statue, which was apparently very blessed one, and nor did they have any other material means to repair that the statue and the temple and the house of the temple. And then one day and even in order to in order to make offerings, Je Tsongkhapa and his disciples even sold their the Dharma articles like a torture maybe, and then they got a little bit of money from selling that an article, and then from that little bit of money they were able to buy a piece of butter, and then they made an offering to the statue of material, that butter, and then they dedicated that the offerings very accurately and very properly through the power of the pure dedication, pure motivation, and from under the throne of Je Tsongkhapa emerged the living this Namtu said is that Vaishravana, and then Vaishravana said, and now I will fulfill. Vaishravana is the deity of wealth or material resources, and then this deity Vaishravana requested Je Tsongkhapa what he will serve, and he will do whatever he can in order to fulfill Je Tsongkhapa's wishes. And the next day, and then the Je Tsongkhapa received many the kind of offerings, some offerings which is silk garments, and some others were different things, and then through that those offerings, and then Je Tsongkhapa was able to restore the temple, and where the famous and blessed the Buddha material was living. And so through this, and we can now understand how Je Tsongkhapa had to practice Dharma very hard and very purely compared to Je Tsongkhapa's work. And then we are not we say we are practicing Dharma, but we are actually not practicing the Dharma.
That's an sajong zebari. We got chulung spadong zhongxina shuhe. They shuhe sajong zebari mende pya mende yomare. Do chumushi, do sang yong, do de zhongji zhe, man zhe ju yo. De wan de mende jiaru de zhe yong, jiaru de chulung lakong tuwa yo, jiaru chi chung de ge yo. De ge yo, jiaru chi mati. Moni da sha chi. Kele ji jiaru ke she do. Ode do de wan ja pyo ne, ni do wan de mende pyo ne, do ge mende wan de cha ma le bai cha de ne. Cha shi zuo, cha ma le cha de ne de mende pyo. Ani jia cha ce, cha ce. Do tubu de ne, do bang le xiao yan cha ce zang, do bang le xiao yu ma se, do ma gong gong cha. Ta do de jiu ma yang ma zu bei wei ya guo che. Ta bang de ziban de lian tong xie yo. Den de yo de, den de xian de cha dong xia song gui de cha ce ne. Dong xia ge sang jie song ju song a. Ri dong de zi ni xie zi ba, ye ge ri dong de dong ga ge su ru ji yo ri ji yo de. Den de cha ce ju de, ye ge ri zi ni xie zi ge yo. xie zi ne da, nyang tang yi jie da ju ge me sang ge, ma xie zi chung sang ba ru ji zang ma na ma cha da ga ce shu ba re. Teni yo ta ni ru yong be, da ba re xie zi ge yo shu ge. Teni yang jiu ma, zu bao do ji de xiao yin ba re. Da me de ji do de nyang tang yi ma no ka ne yang shu ge. En je be yo ge, nyang tang re de nyang tang rang ga wa ma re, song jia yo re. De xian ne da, 제르부치 동샤 셰시니 동샤 손주 송하기 권도 셰레 권도 된 차선의 제르부치 시니 중월에마도 제 별로 동샤 다 손주 송아 하고리 셰레다 차세 신경을 말이지. 어다 들리지. 나도 차는 영주 파페 제소 다딘서 라지 아니 도모데 차다
and at Olga, and then Je Tsongkhapa did the purification and practices. First, he had done in the mandala offerings. He had a mandala base made of the stones as big as this, and he used rims of the mandala made of the metal, and these the metals so can be found in that the temple. And while Je Tsongkhapa was making the mandala offerings on that stone base, and Je Tsongkhapa's even arms were they scratched, and because his arms were scratched, or this whatever we call the wrist and everything was scratched, so Je Tsongkhapa has also many the bloods were bleeding from his arms and wrists, and also Je Tsongkhapa made the prostrations together with the 35 Buddha's names, and Je Tsongkhapa made these prostrations while reciting 35 Buddha's name on a very flat stone. And because Je Tsongkhapa made too many prostrations, and even that the flat the stone or slat became eventually a hole, end up the kind of became a hole, and later on this the stone was put on the wall of that monastery. We can see this in that the temple. And while Je Tsongkhapa was making these prostrations while reciting 35 Buddha's name, and one day Je Tsongkhapa received a vision of 35 Buddhas from a mountain called White Conscious Mountain, and Je Tsongkhapa saw that the visions of 35 Buddhas, but he didn't believe that it was a true vision, and still he was carrying on. He carried out to do prostrations, and now 35 Buddhas are coming closer towards him, and then he thought it was maybe I was pure visions, and he was still not satisfied with that vision. Then he he asked Manjushri through Pao Doje, asking that whether his visions of 35 Buddhas were true or not, and then the pure appearances or not. And Je Tsongkhapa, Manjushri replied, it was extraordinary, the pure appearances of the 35 Buddhas. And before the Je Tsongkhapa had received the visions of 35 Buddhas, Tibetans know about the 35 Buddhas, but they don't know the exact colors. The 35 Buddhas, they don't know exact the hand articles of the 35 Buddhas. Since Je Tsongkhapa had received the visions of the 35 Buddhas, and the Tibetans came to know the exact the colors and gestures and hand articles of the 35 Buddhas.
Chulung dang jesu for the Ruvan Zelu, that is Shagme, she Sasamari, she Sagia Maria, Madrasha. Imagine a good Rumsa de Mamasha, Germany, Shanghama, she Shabashe, Toma, good Rumsa de my dog, she will be on that Jeremy was a good from Yaki. Jeremy was a lama chuji to lose.
And now I will begin to tell the life of Je Tsongkhapa from his birth. And now when Je Tsongkhapa was born, and his initial the guru or teacher was Kyabje. And Kyabje saw the face of the Yametaka of Vajra Vairava. And because Kyabje had seen the visions of a face of Yametaka, and Kyabje requested Yametaka that please you should show your face to me again and again. And then that Yametaka replied, in next year at this the time of the month, then I will come to that side of the kind of a river. He point to the river.
So when
Yamitaka said that next year at this time of the month I will come at that place, it was actually the Je Tsongkhapa.
Jerumusha ame kubana mashu unla ame melam nalaya tong chimbu chinala peme halabe tongda je ayuji peme momso de yusejina koran leti yo.
And before Je Tsongkhapa was entered into his mother's womb, and Je Tsongkhapa's mother dreamed that she was with 1,000 women on a very playground.
Chiu kabu shirjauchi the pomong hobu yuruchi yone. Chiu kabu chi the pomong hobuchi. Pombachi ke. Ane chiu de ne pomudi ni chi hono zugu permets the romance. Chiu de merom chevere. Yan de romance meroms. Yan de romance mer. Chime kanga the vida ne ronga se meroms chia marunga chene kanga lo miribuchi. Jerushi Amade, they romance, they romance, Lamsa Pungsulu, Tree, Chengwell, Chulu, Tree, Melanchu.
And then she dreamt a white, the white infant, and the male infant, and the bluish, the female infant, and then these two, one of these pointed to each of these 1,000 women who were on the ground, saying, is this the lady suitable? And saying no. Is this pointed to another lady or woman, saying, is this suitable? And everyone says no. And every time they said no. And when they reach Je Tsongkhapa's mother, and then they ask, is this the suitable? And then they said it is suitable.
Jerumusha Yoina Yoina Dana Sevu Shejume.
And then
Yoga Melam Yamada, Yoga Melam Nalaya, Jana Rosingania, Yoris, Gilon Jibu, Yone, and the Koran Halape. My journal and Nenso Yava Yuan Sone, and the Abbey Chugona, Toba Korange, Kunda Kusun to the user, Chugona, Le Pe, Melanjuan.
And then they washed, or they poured the waters through on by the vase onto the Je Tsongkhapa's body, and these two infants. These two infants then poured this the water onto Je Tsongkhapa's mother. And one of the father or the mother, I can't remember exactly, one of the two parents of Je Tsongkhapa dreamt that one in the old and looking the bhikshu came from the 5 peaked mountains in China, came and to the house, and then they found also they said the monk said, I came from that 5 peaked mountain, and then he went to see the altar.
Chugona the pay memoria. Gilon Jabangi Chete, the Jana Rosingan Yumedi, Lava the middle change care. Natural Nelson Yawa is a middle change the only jet. A Koran Yole, Timson Meladon.
Not that the bhikshu, the old looking bhikshu, didn't enter into the shrine, but he said the old looking monk said, I came to the higher house, and saying this, and then that old looking bhikshu offered the flower garland onto the parents' neck, and then that old the monk and then dissolved into the mother.